This is the happiest we've been, and we've
we don't laugh,
both been
we'll
dick this
cry.
week.
If we don't laugh, we'll cry.
Oh, God.
Anyways, welcome to Bragging Rights, Season 3, Episode 6. Housed, as always, at the home of the pod, Tribal, and sponsored by Comscaff. Don't forget, share an episode with a mate. Do what you got to do. Leave a like, subscribe, hit that hype button.
Are you jet lagged or something, mate?
I am absolutely fucked. Yes. It'll do. It's better than usual.
Yeah, that was probably your best intro.
I know, yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what you got to do. That's, yeah.
And if you don't, I don't really mind.
New podcast motto.
Speak to me in a week, tell me what I said, I'll tell you I don't care. Anyways, on to our game. It didn't happen. Over to all.
Didn't happen.
Right, that's it.
It was,
Straight to the news.
it was disappointing though, wasn't it, to go all the way over there and I only got to see 5 teams play. And I just kept thinking, why aren't Rovers playing? They promised us a game.
At least you've got C5.
No, you got
I
some
wasn't-
Nans to watch, didn't you?
Yes, there was,
Yeah,
yeah.
actually.
So you
I
got
just
to
don't
watch
want to wear
7
that
teams play.
Sky had turned into a comedy channel, especially airing so late at midnight on a Saturday
yeah.
evening.
It was after the watershed, so there was loud shows.
Yeah, there was.
Getting bummed. So, it's fun.
Dry.
Yeah, dry bummed.
Oh no.
But yeah, at least you've got to see 5 teams.
At least it's not me saying the inappropriate
Yeah,
shit.
that's true.
I don't think we'll mind if we get cancelled after this one. Both teams are doing shit.
got-
Me and him are jet lagged. You dragged
I
it.
think we spoke about on the group chat last year's Good Friday derby was for us, one of us to go top of the league or stay top or whatever. This year would be for the wooden spoon, won't it?
We're keeping that one.
At least you've got to see 5 teams.
Yeah,
Matt-
I know we are going to talk about Vegas on a separate section.
My lad was sulking, so I only got to see the Rovers game.
Yeah, but I've got comments mixed in, so I did get to see the.
Why you put that under my feet again?
Yeah, put it all. I'm getting dragged over. I can feel myself getting pulled over to Craig. He's got my wire. Sorry, yeah. I did get to watch NRL games as well, which was worth the watch and worth staying, so that was good.
I wouldn't know.
Although, interesting comment on that. We spoke to some Aussies who sat with us, and some more who walked out, and I felt like I'd watched 2 incredible NRL games. Great speed, barely any errors, real good. And the Aussies were like, yeah, not our best, but it's our first outing and we'll get better. And you know, when you've just watched that, obviously we barely turned up, if you can even say we turned up at all. Leeds went on a rampage, and still the 2 NRL games were so good and quite close, both of them. For them to turn around and be like, oh, didn't we look rusty?
Well,
and I'm thinking I've seen like 2 of the best games of rugby I've seen quality-wise.
It's going back to the last 15, 20 minutes of the World Cup Challenge game. I said to him, I was like, when Brisbane turned it on, I don't think I've ever seen a club team play that well live. And it was just the level that they went up to, and the level that obviously they expect, what you've just said, it's totally different ball game to what we're used to and what we expect.
It really was, and I must say, I said we'll try and get onto the game and we'll talk about Vegas separate section, but speaking to a lot of fans, speaking to a lot of Aussies and Americans who didn't get how good the UK banter was and the chanting and stuff, so we sort of won on that one. But also, a lot of like the Aussies that I spoke to were like, thank you for beating the Broncos. Like, they hate them. It felt a bit like we'd sort of fallen into this weird world of like, everyone else is fine, but the Broncos are hated in Australia. And I don't know if that's just coincidence, because we beat them and obviously there want a lot of Broncos fans there. But we spoke to like Bulldog fans and all sorts of St George fans, and they was like, oh yeah, can't stand them. Cheats. Oh, Reece Walsh, yeah, sure, thinks he's rugged looking, doesn't he? But he goes down at the blow of a feather and all. And I was like, wow, like, they hate him.
Yeah,
It's because they're all that way out there, innit? Up there in Brisbane.
Yeah, I didn't realise how much dislike there was for him. Like, and I didn't know if it was just a success thing, but nobody has an issue with Melbourne. They're all fine with Melbourne, and
they legit did cheat.
And they literally did cheat.
You're saying that Greg Inglis getting a speedboat as part of his salary, but not disclosed as part of his salary, is cheating.
Yeah.
So now we can't buy people speedboats anymore.
It's like
Ridiculous.
Kukash buying Evalds and Maserati, isn't it?
Jim Bowen's fucked then, isn't he? Off bullseye.
Evans needs an ambulance.
Everyone on a speedboat.
Right, well, we better get into
The
these
game.
games,
Do
aren't
we
we?
have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. Terrible.
Your turn to go first.
Well, yeah.
Leeds, Hull KR versus Leeds at Vegas. Game. Terrible, lacklustre, shattered, outplayed. Worst performance under Peters, yes. Done.
Yeah. Pretty much echoing what I've got. I've got poor from the start and continue throughout. Very uncharacteristic Rovers showing from what we've come to expect over the last couple of years. One thing I did like was after the game, not that it had finished, although that was a bonus, was Peter's interview.
Yeah.
We've seen him give honest interviews when we've been beaten, like previous times, like when we lost to Wigan, it was brutal and he was honest. But after that one, it was just so refreshing to see. He wasn't hiding behind anything. He wasn't making any excuses. He came out and said, look, it's on me, basically.
Super League put a thing on Instagram and they cut it short for a snippet and they missed out the part where he paid full credit to Leeds. And a lot of fans online were saying, what should not giving Leeds credit for? This was just Rovers playing poorly. No, he did at the start, and then he went on to say about how poor we were and it wasn't good enough from top to bottom. The inside out, it's going to be a long season. We think that's acceptable. This was on his birthday. He's doing that interview on his birthday. So if anyone's going to be unhappy, it's that fella as well. Do you know what I mean? And I was pleased with that. And I made a comment which we'll probably get to in the York bit as well. But we keep saying this thing about in Willie we trust, and we've always got a response from him. And that's what we're just trusting. And it probably was the worst performance we've seen under Willie. It's not the worst performance I've seen a Rovers side do in my time.
Oh, God, no.
And, you know, I sent you guys a funny thing where I felt someone was clutching at straws a bit, saying, what do these 5 results all have in common? And it was, in the last 10 years, all 5 of these results, the team that got these results ended up winning the league that year. And there was, like, Saints getting beat 60-0. I think Wigan, there was a Wigan one getting beat 60 points.
62-0 by Wakefield.
By Wakefield.
Leeds got done by 60 against Cast in 2017 and then went on to win the grand final
Now,
the year.
Clutching at straws in the quick aftermath, but that it is a long season, and I truly mean this when I say it. I even said it to you outside the ground after the game had finished. 80 minutes did not change or dictate that entire experience for me. It honestly, it sounds stupid, it sounds like a bit of an excuse, but it really didn't. It was really poor, it was gutting. There's barely any players. I think we both agreed we could maybe give Jez a bit of credit, but not many other players. None of them really turned up. You know, I'm joking to people afterwards in the bars after I've watched the NRL games and the next day saying like, well, it's my fault for buying Mini that extra pint at 3 a.m. in MGM Casino in the morning. And people are believing it's true because of the performance that Rovers put in. There's not much to be said about it. And I do think I'd like to sort of echo what Willie said and make sure I get it in there that full credit to Leeds Rhinos completely. They showed up, they played fantastically, they took absolutely all the chances. I think really there's only 2 of their tries that I'd call questionable. They wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game.
But might they have done? Because they were quite early on. If it's 12-0 instead of 24-0.
I think you was
possibly.
You was missing tackles uncharacteristically, and you was getting rolled down the pitch more than I've seen you get rolled down the pitch in the last 2 or 3 years. To be honest, before that point, I think it was only a matter of time before Leeds clicked.
This
and
is
got
what
into
I saw it. I think they'd have won regardless.
I don't think maybe there'd have been 12 points off the score, but I still think you'd have had 40, 50 put past you. For me, what and I know you're saying it doesn't change the trip and things like that. I'm looking at it from a different point of view, and it's not because it's Rovers, because I'll dig on wire as well. We've had 2 games in Vegas now, and twice they've been blowouts. It's not a great look for Super League, especially when we're trying to put our best foot forward for the NRL to hopefully invest in the future. Well, personally, that's what I'm hoping for. It doesn't help. And you have got a fair excuse, what you did the week before. Like, your boys will have been shattered. They had every right to go out and party after that performance 2 weeks ago, and no doubt they did. But we still need to put our best foot forward. And what Cookie said in a podcast he did earlier on in the week, okay, I should be ashamed. It wasn't a good look for them or Super League.
I disagree with your point on us not putting our best foot forward. And I'm not saying
on the field.
I'm not saying we didn't put our best foot forward as a league, with, from Rovers especially. But I don't think that's what the NRL are looking at when they're looking to invest, because Vlandis has already said he already expects to lose money. He already knows what needs to be fixed. I don't think the showing at Vegas is going to make any difference whatsoever as to whether they put money in or not. And I think he's fully aware of the issues in terms of the distance between the best and the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't think it's going to
dig
make a
on that,
difference.
what you 2 did off the field was nothing short of fantastic for Super League. So don't let me get that mixed up with what was put
absolutely
on the
not. Well, obviously, we'll get on to the Fremont Street when we do the Vegas section later on, but it's a bit of a shame that the 2 games have ended in blowouts, because you look at them 2 fixtures, especially nowadays, they're fixtures that promise so much. Warrington, Wigan, you're thinking 2 of the best 4 teams of the Super League era. Rovers, who have up and coming, and Leeds, who are one of the other best 4 teams in the Super League.
The team
5
that
teams.
gave you the best run last year, I'd say, against.
Oh, bogey team.
Probably so.
Look, the thing for me is, with Leeds, I had this conversation with a few people, obviously happy to be wrong, often I'm on my rugby knowledge, but Leeds are a bogey team for us because they know how to outplay us. The way they outplayed us, apart from us being shocking on Saturday night in Vegas, is the same way that Broncos came back in the last 20 minutes of the World Cup Challenge. They bring it into the middle and they shuffle it out wide and we're not quick enough to defend it. And no other team has done that against us in the same way that Leeds did it last year. Leeds scored one of the tries of the season at Craven Park last year with the exact same way that Broncos attacked us in the last 20 minutes of the World Cup Challenge and the other way that Leeds got a foothold in the first 30 minutes of the game on Saturday night. They just have our number and that's just the way it is. And we can't change that. We kept saying we'd give ourselves a chance and saying that we can go bottom of the league this year and not worry about it because what we did was unheard of, winning the treble for our little club. And then winning the World Cup Challenge, I wouldn't trade it. I'm still in that mindset. All right, it was disappointing to be over there, right? But it was a small snippet of everything else because it didn't change, especially because I didn't leave afterwards. I watched the NRL games. It wasn't like walking away from like a grand final or Craven Park after a loss or being blown out of a Challenge Cup game where I'm out with a bunch of Rovers fans and we're all upset and you're on a bus home together or you've got the next week to think about it. There was so much more to do and see and enjoy that it almost takes the sting out of it, and I still wouldn't trade anything. We all agreed last week that the York loss was clearly one eye on the World Cup Challenge. So we became one of a few handful of clubs to win a World Cup Challenge. We've got that now, you can't take that away from us. Now our season really needs to kick on. And we've got a game coming up that we're hopefully going to win. We might not. And there might be a problem. You know, look at your club 2 years ago. Games that you shouldn't win, you did. And games that you should be winning, you didn't. Yeah. It happens. Now, this will not be the demise of all Kingston Rovers, I don't believe that. It's one game. And I think people just need to calm down a little bit and go, we've played 3 games this year. We lost 1 by 1 point by a team that's now 2 from 3 in Super League. We won a World Cup Challenge against the best team in the world. And then we lost 1 on a global stage. If that's panic stations for anybody, I think you need to take a long hard look and come back and say...
It's definitely not panic stations.
This is not what's going on.
Have you got any concerns about bouncing back? Do you think you will?
No, I think we'll be okay. I don't think it'll be the sort of blowout that you saw from Rovers last season when you take everything into account, but I do think that we will see a response and we will see a Rovers victory on Sunday.
Yeah, and I don't think that... Look, in 3 games' time, we're going to be top of the league unbeaten. They've got a great run going in. They've already won their opening 3. It looks like they're going to be the team to beat again at the minute, right? But other performances, Leeds, etc., are looking good. Rovers, are we still in the fight? Of course we are. You know, we're not from 2 in Super League.
I'm not asking if you...
That's all it is. I'm just, you know...
Are you expecting a bounce back immediately? Are you expecting a steady rise?
I'm expecting it, but I'm also thinking that people have purple patch at different times. Are Wigan in theirs right now? Is ours going to come later in the season? We have done so much, and the World Cup Challenge is the caveat, the excuse, if you want to say. Let's revisit this conversation after...
Josh loves the caveat.
Yeah, 9-10 rounds. That's when
Easter,
I think you know...
Easter.
That's when you know where clubs are at. Like last year, Easter, you guys were up there, and it looked like you was going to go on, and look how that changed.
Yeah.
You know...
You look at it now. We are 3 rounds in. There's only 2 unbeaten teams in the league. Like, and that... one of them's only played 2.
Yeah.
So it's
The last thing I wanted to make on it, because you know, full credit to Leeds. I already said that. I'll say it again. It's deserved. Not some of their players. Jake Connor had an amazing night. You know, what's he called? The winger. Sevo, Las Vegas. You know, fantastic. I've stole that, by the way.
That's brilliant.
It was all over their social media as well. Amazing performances. Well done to them. It was great to see a team, because when you talk about the NRL, looking at them, they did see one team play some phenomenal rugby. You know, it's only Rovers that let that down. The other thing I'd say is that I just wanted to mention, something I've found hard to adjust to, and I've been part of this in the past. It's amazing that when you're at the top, how much the knives sharpen and how you see things through whatever coloured glasses your team are. I hated Wigan's style for a long time. I felt that Wigan dominated in defence too much. We've had discussion about this, Jimmy, where you've called me out and said you're wrong. You know, they're allowed, you win the right to dominate a tackle if you're on top of someone. And this isn't amateur rugby where you count to 4 and get off the mat. You know, and the way that Super League and professional rugby is refereed is different. For a long time, I felt Wigan got away with a lot more. Probably not true. It's just because Wigan was so good you hated him. And years before, it was probably happening with Leeds and things like that. And you forget about it because at the time you're emotional. Since Rovers did what we did last year, we've been called out and we've become hated, particularly online quite a lot. And it was amazing to see the response on social media, not just from Hull fans who obviously lapped it up and loved it on Saturday night, but from everybody else. RFL's favourite boys aren't going to win everything this year. RFL can't help them to a win this year, can they? When they play like that, even the RFL can't gift them. And I'm thinking, wow, talk about that, you know, tall poppy syndrome I spoke about last time. All it's made me do is actually laugh and sort of have a bit of renewed vigour and go, what do I keep saying? We want to build success over a sustained period. And that doesn't mean a trophy every year, but it means competing every year and being with a chance every year. We did that for the last 2 years. 2 previous years, and then managed to win something last year. If we hadn't have gone on to do a treble and then win the World Club Challenge and have all 4 in our trophy cabinet right now, we wouldn't be looked at as such a high prospect. If we just won 1 or 2, it'd be can they carry on? And it's just that we were so far above. This year, if we can still get there and win 1 or go to a grand final or a Challenge Cup final, it's still a success. And that's how I'm looking at it. All right, absolutely gutted with the performance. Well done to Leeds. Let's restart again for Huddersfield next week.
Yeah, that's my final point on that. Massive credit to Leeds. They outplayed us, they outmuscled us, they outballed us, if you will. You just got to give them massive credit for what they achieved at the weekend and the style of rugby that they was able to play. You mentioned the 2 people that I had wrote down as well in Connor and Sevo. They even took Jake Connor off after about 50 minutes. Now, I don't know if that was an injury or whether it was just we're so far in front we can afford to take him off. But to have that luxury, you've earned that.
I think it was that.
You've earned that right. Do what you want, protect your players. So, massive shout out to Leeds, and I'm just going to leave it there because there's not else much to say.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
I'm glad we're recording it 5 days after the game.
I
Calm
said,
down a little bit.
After I woke up and watched their highlights, I was like, oh, that's going to make Wednesday night a little bit easier to record.
Well,
Yeah, to be fair, that's what I said.
I don't normally rely on you guys to give me a pay cut, but yeah, it certainly helped after that shower of shine we watched on Friday. Yeah.
Quite hard when you're leaving the game and the city's black and amber and it won Hull City. The York class is black and amber, black and yellow, bit of Wiz Khalifa.
Probably, yeah. But fair play to York. You've just give Leeds some credit. We've got to give York some credit. They turned up with a game plan, simple as it was. It got them the 2 points.
Sometimes simple's effective, though, innit?
We just shot ourselves in the foot, didn't we? Numerous times.
Yeah, York just did the basics really well.
Yeah.
Clean, just efficient rugby. Not fancy, not anything to write home about, but
I still wouldn't give them anything more than a 6 or 7 out of 10, and that's not in any injustice on them. I think
I'm laughing at the 6-7 mention.
Did I actually?
7-6.
7-6. All that discussion about 6-7 pre-pod, and I'm like, you get it in there.
Get back on track.
what even is it?
It's not fair. Leave it. It's
Write your answer in the comments.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
The people going.
It gets Jimmy going.
That's how bad we was though. They was good, okay, good. We was very poor, but we started off okay. We had a few good sets. We built into it. We kick pressure was good. We turned the ball over quite well, forcing them to kick from quite deep, and then it just seemed to turn when Leighton dropped the ball on our own 40 with a nothing kick, where it was just a simple, basic catch for any rugby league player.
Didn't they score from that one as well?
I think they got a repeat set and then scored.
Set, yeah.
I think so. It was a very nice try what they scored down our right edge again, which is
this
becoming
from a kick on like fifth and last, and he's dropped it in the fullback position.
He's dropped it in the fullback position, but it was nothing. It wasn't a big bomb. It was just a kick downfield, and he was catching it on our 40. So that's how much we'd done well in defence to get them to kick from deep, and then we had to start building again. Caesar goes off. We don't bring Asiata on, which I want to get onto in a little bit. But then you've got Arthur leading the team around the pitch in his first Super League game. He goes, all right, we get back level and then pull another try back and we go in at half time, don't we? All right. And then again, we start the second half quite well. And then Barron drops the ball coming out of the backfield. He drops the ball from the kick, it goes backwards, it's picked up by Litton or whoever. And then from that play the ball, they pass it to Barron, they drop it, we drop it, they score from the resulting
That's the
picking
one
ball.
I was thinking of. Then.
And it's like, we are constantly shooting ourselves in the foot. Now, I've got down here, still don't panic. I think we will get it right eventually, but these are games you need to be winning. If we want to be up there, 4th, 5th, like we think we could be, we've got to be beating these teams.
Well, I do have some questions on, sort of specifically on some of the young lads, because I've still got my concerns over FC in terms of not playing people in the right positions or not giving young lads chances. And I've heard the excuses, or I've heard the reasons why. Excuses are a bit unfair. These guys paid a lot of money to manage clubs. It's their decisions on why they're doing stuff. Litton, you know, we had a comment last week actually, which we'll mention. I'll think about. I think it was Ethan. Was it Liam Acton who mentioned it, saying he was looking forward to a natural fullback in Litton coming in. Then he makes an easy drop, and I don't agree. It's his natural position.
I don't agree. It's his
You've
natural
got Moyu
position.
coming back for an injury, but did play for the reserves.
Yep.
You know, you've got Kemp who plays there. So there's that side of it, but more focus on Barron and the mistake he made. Cartwright made some good comments, I think it was post-match, around, he'd said to the young lads, the Super League eyes are on you now. You had great years last year, so did Martin, Barron did, and teams are going to attack you now. Do you feel that's true in the opening 3 games?
Yes.
Because I saw it at Wigan when we was there last week, and I'm yet to see anything that's going to be a performance for Martin where it would be up Man of Steel worthy again, Man of Steel, Young Player of the Year worthy again. And also, I think Barron's really been struggling a little bit.
He's really
Do you think they are getting targeted, is my question?
100%. We spoke about after Wigan, didn't we? We thought the back 3 was targeted and didn't stand up well. And I include Price in that before he went off, unfortunately, injured. Barron still ran well. When he had the ball in hand, he still ran well.
So did Litton.
So did
Ran
Litton.
for 200 metres.
Barron it was a great try, great finish, but another unforced error, exactly like the Wigan one, where he's coming out of backfield, taking it out of his own 10. But he is getting targeted, and I thought he didn't bounce back as well as Martin did this week. Martin again had a poor game against Wigan, but he bounced back. I think he had a decent game, one of the better players. Not brilliant, not of the standard as he was last year, but after a torrid week he had last week, he come back, simple game plan, got just decent. Now Barron is injured, and obviously we wish him well. But I would have probably. I don't know if this sounds bad because obviously the guy's injured, but I would have probably opted to put Briscoe in and give him a break out the squad, even without the injury, because he has been targeted and he has been found wanting a little bit. And I don't know, young player, do you keep him in the firing line to try and get it out of him, or do you pull him out of it? I don't know.
That's why they paid the money to make that decision, like I said.
But on Litton, we was differing our views, weren't we? Before the game, like you thought Hardacre, I thought Litton to start at full-back. He went with Litton, he runs for 200 metres, scores a try. But on the flip side of that, his error cost us a try. Well, that error didn't cost us, but it was the start of the downfall to lead into the first try. And something that I haven't really been mentioning is positioning. Now, a full-back who's a more natural position, a person who's more natural at full-back would know where to position himself a little bit more. Now, York were putting some decent kicks in, but it was bouncing 2-3 times, and then he was taking another second or two to get back to the ball, whereas a more natural fullback would have been in the right position, i.e. a Zach who's got the experience there, or a Logan Moy, or a Kemp even. And it was starting our sets off way too slow, and then having to force to get out backfield, and we were just getting turned constantly, and I feel like more natural fullback would have
Moy's
helped.
positioning is definitely better, because one of my gripes year before last was that your team wasn't standing up for the young players, and Moy was getting battered a lot when he got the ball, but he was always in the right position to catch it. And I can only really remember one off the top of my head that he knocked on, and anyone was allowed one knock on, you know, in such a tough position and from big high bombs against a Super League opponent. And if that's how you're seeing it, I can understand why your mindset is, you know, I'd prefer somebody else there. The flip side, and to go back to the Cartwright point of he's paid the money to do it, maybe he doesn't want to start putting more youngsters in because he's seeing Barron, etc., getting a bit of a hammering.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that.
I think another thing for me, with one of the reasons why I prefer to put Hardacre there, than Litton. Litton's he's young, he's up and coming, and we obviously see him as a centre. It's much more difficult for a young lad like that to start chopping and changing where he's at. You know, not having that consistency of where he's playing and who he's playing with. Whereas someone like Zach, who's played 6, 7, 6, 1.
1 to 13.
He's played.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's just for all.
He's played every single position you can play, and he's played it solid. If you move Zach from centre to full back, don't make a difference to him. Don't make a difference at all. He's just going to play to the best of his abilities, and for me, it gives him more freedom to be a leader across the field, which is something we were lacking, especially when Caesar went off before Asiata came on. I just feel like all round, Hardacre would have done a better job.
I must say,
fullback.
I completely agree with you, Jimmy, on this. That's exactly what my thing would have been.
That's
Hardacre.
all I wanted.
I didn't last
All I
week.
wanted.
I do this week. It's amazing how your opinions
Life goals
change.
achieved.
Yeah. It's not happening though, because apparently we're playing the same spine.
But then that can't be right because surely Asiata's going to come in to start and then you spell him with Bell.
All
We'll get
I
on to.
read- all I read
I
was-
read the same thing. We'll get onto that in the preview though. Should we get onto the?
Oh, that's a J, not an S. It looks like an S to me.
Sorry, Carty Junior.
Not
Oh yeah, I've got it
senior.
here. Cartwright, he's done, lad. How can you keep paying this man a wage?
I've put how long can we give him?
This is not Hull and District League where Daddy's the coach and he can play. What's going on?
It can't continue. The guy's off injured again, and he's out for 12 weeks. Is it? Something
I
like
don't
that.
know. I don't know what's been
I haven't
confirmed.
seen any.
Again, no.
I haven't seen any time frame, but he's gone again, and he got sin-binned in the process.
He got sin-binned making a professional tackle, and I think it's that tackle where he got injured.
I think he'd rolled off the pitch. I think injured, and then he'd come back on to make the tackle to stop a
What a
try.
lad. Take him on for the team.
It's just like he's an okay player. He's an okay player, but you don't. If he's a world beater, maybe you give him a bit of leeway.
Yeah, if he's a Bevan French.
But he's not. He's an okay player. He's taking up cap space and a quarter spot. We can't do that. We've got enough players who we're giving leeway to, like Asiata, like Bell, players who could change a game for us. He won't do that. A call has to be made. And we spoke about this last year.
I think with the way that Myler's been since he came to the club, he has been quite ruthless. I think this is the point where Myler and the rest of the coaching staff, including Carty Senior, have to put the foot down and say, we cannot continue to keep paying you to sit on the sidelines. We need to invest that money more wisely.
Well, you're going to learn something a lot over the next couple of weeks about your club and about the way it's run, because I don't see how anybody can turn around and defend that Cartwright should be kept on. It's shit for anyone that gets a big injury, but when someone gets repeat injuries and just can't get on the field, you're going to learn whether, you know, Marler is in charge of Cartwright Senior and can say if something needs to happen, or you're going to carry him on for another 6 weeks injured, especially in the same week when you're announcing Liam Knight's allowed to go. So you have got a fit forward who can play, and you're allowing him a release, but you're not having that conversation with a player who, I'd love to know the percentage of games he's actually played for you that he's been signed
It's
for.
got to be less than 25%. It has to be, from when he signed. He's been, 2 years up in June, I think he signed midway through 24. But you just took us nicely on to the point we wanted to talk about, and Liam Knight leaving, so thanks for that. If it's not right for him and the club have come to a mutual decision, then fair enough. Homesickness.
The only gripe I've got is it was rumoured in the off-season. It's quite clear based on what Cartwright said that these discussions have been happening since pre-Christmas.
Yep.
Why didn't we let him go and replace him sooner? I know it kind of might work in our favour now because it means we're in a position to use that cap space and that quarter spot to bring in potentially a cover for Price.
Fullback, yeah. There's been a lot of rumours.
But still, I would still have a gripe with the fact that players clearly not got his head in the game, and we've still made him come over here and play 3 games for us when he didn't want to be here
How
in the
does it
first
work
place.
if you pay a player off in Super League? So if you can make an agreement that you'll pay a portion of his salary, you'll come off the cap space, he's not a signed player. But can FC play him money as part of the severance package?
And not come off the cap.
I don't know, because I'm hearing rumours, that's all. I'm hearing rumours about part of this mutual, and it is just rumours, that this mutual discussion, this mutual leaving, is that there's some money going that way rather than back to the club.
So the way I see it in a normal workplace, if you go to someone and say, we don't want you here anymore, we want to pay you off, that's not wage, that's compensation.
So one-off compensation.
So that's not, you
That's
know, you
what
don't
I've
pay
heard,
tax
by the
on it,
way.
you don't pay NI
I
or
just
anything like that.
I just don't know how the
would-
Super League view it.
He's
That's
gone
Yeah, I
all.
would
the
just
club, hasn't he?
assume that because it's compensation and not pay, then it can't be
We
included on
have
the
to
cap.
pay him off though because
We don't know, that's what I'm saying, we don't know.
No, but he's gone to the club and obviously he's not happy. He wants to go back to Australia, so he's the one who wants releasing from the contract. It's not the
Well,
club
yeah,
getting rid
there's
of
that
him,
as well. So there might not be any payment. It might
Yeah.
just
There
be
might-
a
I said
straight
it's all
up.
rumours and we'll never know because it's all kept behind closed doors. But
I wish him well anyway. Whenever he did pull on a shirt, he was feisty to say the least. Maybe towed the line a bit too much, but yeah.
it was Brad Fash, but with more skill.
Bigger
yeah,
chin.
bigger chin. Yeah.
Bless her.
Bless her.
You cut the growth from here and put it here.
Is that what I did?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to get to move all your team as well? All the changes and all the people. Like, a million things that I think are wrong with the recruitment and signing players, of like ageing players and injuries, but they can go right. Flip of a coin, you find yourself right. But the one thing I just can't get my head around, I don't want to call an individual person out, but as a player, I don't get the Burrow. I just don't get me Burrow as a player. I don't know why Denise Barnfuff is not in that slot for you and he's out on loan.
He come in for a lot of stick, especially after Friday. didn't he?
Amen to that.
Confused
I've been
about me.
saying it for ages. I don't get Burrow at 9. I understand that Barnfuff has a lot of developing still left to do. I get that, he's not complete. We're allowing other players to do it. Why are we not allowing Barnfuff to do it? Because I see Barnfuff as a potential top talent.
We don't know.
I
There's a
see
reason.
Burrow at pretty much the same age as someone that, if he left, I wouldn't be bothered.
This new ruck thing as well is only going to hamper Amir Burrow's game, I believe. I don't think it's going to benefit us with him at 9. Whereas you've got Jez there, and we've got Custy there. I think this new rule benefits him. It doesn't benefit Amir Burrow. Deneve was okay on Friday. I don't think he was no better, no worse than Amir, in my opinion. But I do think I am swaying to that point now. Like I'd rather give him a chance, and I have done for the last 12 months. But I'm not seeing anything else from him, and I think it's a position we need to explore options at, especially at the end of the year.
Yeah. Just back on Jed.
Oh, because it's Rovers again. All right, go on then.
Go on.
Jed, not Jez.
Oh, all right, yeah, go on then. Oh, yeah, back on FC. Yeah, I love that. Great.
16 games he's played. If you're classing it as 18 months, that's a season and a half. That's what, 40, 45 games-ish? 16 out of 40. If you take it at 48, it's 33%.
33%. Okay.
Nice.
So
Oh, well.
that's there or thereabouts. It's not exact. It's just quick maths.
I think we're done. Right, Tribal this week, obviously, as always, are showing all of the rugby games, specifically the FC one and the Rovers one, but you'll be able to catch all the others on if you want to come in and watch them when they're happening. And yeah, come in, grab some food, watch some Premier League. They've got MotoGP on over there at the minute, so you'll pretty much show anything you want.
And that one's an advert that's repeated itself about 55 times since we've been here.
Yeah.
Seen Ryan Reynolds' face about 50 times.
And now to complain about there though, is there? Anyway, yeah, get yourself down here. If you've got a season pass, don't forget to bring it in. It should just be on your phone now for both clubs. And you get 15% off any bill that's got food and drink. Let's talk about Vegas.
Let's. Bosh.
Well,
What a place.
yeah,
Just what a place.
Before we do, you got back all safe, everything?
I think we did, yeah.
No, I'm not really here.
All suitcases,
actually-
all suitcases come back with you, no problems there. Was
No,
it
my
Greg, out like
suitcase
that?
was broken.
Oh, okay.
They broke my suitcase.
Didn't
nearly
leave
wheel.
it. Didn't leave it anywhere out like that, did you?
No, that wasn't a suitcase. That was a bag with my sleep apnea machine in it.
The
Close to shutting down UK's busiest airport, but luckily managed to avoid it.
I do know actually because there's been some chaos since, and I do know. Just saying, so obviously
Craig's
Mike.
fault.
Mike Abel, who listens,
Absolutely.
Mike is stuck. He spent 24 hours delayed somewhere and got stuck over and had to stay in a hotel. And there's been quite a few. There was just some issues up and down. So I think with me and Craig coming back, we wasn't travelling together, but coming back roughly the same time, but very different routes on Monday of this week. Coming home Tuesday, which was yesterday.
Was it Tuesday?
I think we escaped the chaos because it's been a lot, but we're home safe. No, it was. I have put it as an experience of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And I do mean that. And we're going to do some shout-outs first, but I will just say before we do some specific shout-outs on people, before we dig into the atmosphere and how amazing it all was, I want FC to go. I want friends and family and people I know, and I want you guys to go and experience it. I think...
Me too.
Forgetting our result, you can truly understand it when you get there, and Hull will take a lot, just like Rovers took so many. Hull should take a lot. There was Hull fans there, there was loads of clubs there, we'll talk about that, but genuinely I want people I know to experience what it felt like just to be, I don't know, just to be like, not even just the events, which we're going to talk about, but just walking down the Las Vegas Strip at random times of the day and night and just seeing Rovers gear everywhere and people just giving you a nod and a shout, and then seeing people whose name you don't quite know, but you've seen them in the East Stand. It was unbelievable, and you know, to that point, obviously saw hundreds of people that you know. It's just natural that many people, and I spent a lot of time with Danny Joyce, who we know and play rugby with, spent time with him and his dad, mentioned seeing Mike Abel and people like that. There was a man on Fremont Street, I didn't get your name, but he just stopped me in a casino and was asking questions and explaining about just get a beer from the shop and go walking with it. Yeah, and he was like, oh, cheers, pal. By the way, I love the podcast. But I didn't get his name, and so much happened. But there's two, I will say as well, there's a guy I know who played for Scala, him and his dad, the Livies. It was great to see them out there. But
they were in the Nines tournament,
yeah, so his lad was playing, so Luke was playing, I had a beer with his dad on the night and that, but he had some fun stories to tell about travelling so far out of where the Nines tournament actually was, in quite a rough area.
Yeah, because I looked at going to that, but it was so far out the way.
Oh, was it not in and around Leeds?
No. It was in the slums.
About an half an hour car ride away, so you got no chance of going there.
It was not a good area, should we put it that way.
Okay.
But there was two specific ones that I wanted to call out. So, Cookie, who you go on the buses with.
Shout out Cole.
So Cole and his wife. So I know him because I know Cole from before and speaking to him, and we went to Catalan years ago, but bumped into them after they arrived. And what was really funny about catching up with them is we bumped into them a couple of times, and we were talking to a family friend, and they'd sort of laughed and said, Cole's wife, I don't know her name, unfortunately. I can't remember. Michelle, that's it. Said, oh, you'll be getting stopped everywhere. I went, no, we're not famous. This is just a family friend that stopped us as well. But as they walked away, I didn't twig, but they both went. I went, oh, it's great to see you, catch you soon. They both went, see you, bye. And I carried on walking, and then they went, see you, bye. And then I went, my dad was like, and I went, oh, yes, see you, bye. And made it quite funny.
It's funny you mentioned that one. It's funny you mentioned that one because this is a guy, I didn't get his name. I'm walking down the street with Mason, just toddling along, taking in the sights, and some guy just walks past me, doesn't even say hi or anything like that, he just looks back and he goes, see you, bye, and walks off. I thought, that is pinnacle, that is superb, and that's why I didn't get his name, but like Josh said, you're just walking down and the amount of people you bump into that you know, or that you've seen, and also, there was a lot of people there that I know, I've seen photos on Instagram and on Facebook and the like, but people I've not seen as well. People I've known for years who were there and they could have been round the corner from me, but you've not seen them. It's so surreal, but what a place. We
had this shout out to Cole, so I don't think he listens, but an old mate of my dad's, and we just ran into this pattern of bumping into him everywhere we go. We spent the entire Toulouse trip 4 seasons ago, whenever we went down, partying with him. And went to the World Cup Challenge 2 weeks ago. He was the seat in front of me. He just turns up everywhere. Didn't see him in Vegas. Yet I saw a family friend in the Harrisons, Mike and Helen, that I haven't seen for maybe 10 years. It's so bizarre in how it happens. But the one I wanted to mention, listener of the pod, so Steve O. Smith, as he's called now, Predictions League. So Stephen, great lad. I was having a few beers. He travelled out there with his mum. He'd left a very young child at home, a newborn, not brand new, but only a few months in.
On its own?
No, with the mother of the child.
Okay.
But obviously was laughing about him being able to come out with a, I can't remember because I was drunk, 5 or 6 month old, and he still came out, but was in stage door, was smashing some beers in, he come over and we got chatting. And it turns out we'd sort of crossed over paths working with each other a little bit in a previous job of mine where he still works. But what has happened in recent times is, just like you, Dean, it's passed on to me, meeting people in toilets. So I've met this guy.
That's his favourite pastime.
In the toilets twice. And we was laughing because you don't stop for a conversation in toilets. So we've never actually stopped to be like, what's your name? How you doing? Blah, blah. It's just been like, how you doing, mate? Love the podcast. And carried on. And for the first time, he's been able to turn around and say, this is me, this is who I am, by the way. And we've got to have a great chat and have over a beer and that in the bar because, he said, it's getting to the point now where I'm sort of, do I speak to you in the toilet again? Because twice, once is mad, twice, but the third time, it's like we're following each other around the toilets. And I thought, I'm turning to Dean, because that's how you usually meet people that watch and listen.
It's your only way.
It's because you spend so much time in the toilet.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible.
But I wanted to mention that just to get them people out before we talk about all the events and that's on to you, Craig.
Yeah, Steve-O's a great kid. I've known him years. It is the same guy. We was debating beforehand, weren't we, Josh, that was it the same guy? And turns out it is the same guy.
Yeah.
Delivers from Mama's Greek Kitchen as well, so if you ever get that, he might turn up to your house. Lovely guy.
Mama's Greek Kitchen's lovely as well.
Superb, innit? One final shout out that I've got then is a guy who turned around to me and he went, I think it was at the signing at Resorts World, the fan signing, and he turns around to me and he goes, I think I might be your only listener from North America. And it turns out his name's Arizona Red. I didn't get his proper name, but he's in the Predictions League under Arizona Red. And
I mean, if he's from Arizona, that is probably his real name. Just Red.
Quite possibly, quite possibly. But he was lovely. He said he really enjoys the pod and hopes that we keep doing it. And he's really glad, I can't remember, if it's all blending into one. But there was one guy and he was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that guy who sits next to the guy with the long hair, he's got the shaved head. So I was like, oh, Dean. He was like, is that the guy who was leaving? Who announced he was leaving at the end of last season? I was like, yeah, it's the same guy. And he went, well, just let him know from me that I'm really glad that he stays because he brings a lot to the pod.
Oh, thank you very much.
So there
I
are
have
people
got a bit of news at the end of tonight.
So there are people out there, Dean, that do actually like you from the Rovers side as well.
Oh, all right, okay.
So just bear that in mind with any future announcements.
I'll sleep a lot better tonight.
I want to know if there's any Hull fans that like Josh. That'd be big news.
I think my Ellie does,
That don't count.
but I don't know if that's because she knows him.
Yeah, I think Evie's cousin, who's technically a York fan as well, but FC first, I think he thinks I'm all right. Nick thinks I'm all right, so...
More than what we think here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there is that.
But honestly, I mean it. I want you to go and experience it. I would be tempted to go back. I'm not sure I would. I would go back if FC went. I'd go in my Rovers gear. It was great to see loads of old fans. I was saying before we recorded that there was probably 7,000-8,000 Rovers fans, 5,000-6,000 Leeds fans, maybe more on each side. Rovers did seem to have a bit more, but they didn't dominate. But there were so many different fans from everywhere. I spoke to York fans, I spoke to Castleford fans.
You're a Keighley fan as well.
Yeah.
I saw a Keighley fan.
There was great people in the local clubs as well. Obviously, I saw a lot of new people from Scaler, so I spoke to them and saw Scaler. But you'd see groups of blokes that obviously played open age rugby, and they'd be like, Fryston Warriors or whatever. There was a group of them, I think, and just stuff like that. And it was just so good to see such a melting pot of different people, and at all times as well. It just felt like from day one to me leaving that people
No one went to bed.
Yeah, you could go anywhere and see. And I didn't go to all the events, but I am going to mention Fremont Street as the one that I did go to.
You've got to, because it was the main one.
People were blown away, and I mean Americans. I mean the serving staff that stand on there and see people ziplining over the head every day in, day out. That see bands play there, that see other events there. There was bar staff saying to us, "What the hell's going on? Why can't people move?"
Just before he was Valander, is it Peter Valandis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did an interview with one of the Australian broadcasters post-match to you guys, and he was talking about he's never had to play down an attendance in his life. You were only legally allowed to have 15,000 fans down Fremont Street for that the event that was going on.
More than that.
He said there was 25,000 fans down that street, and we had to play it down, saying no, there's only 15,000. He said he could not believe the turnout, and I think that's credit to you and Leeds.
It was everywhere, so it works in like a T-shape. You've got the way the zip line goes is sort of one, and then about halfway down you've got another one that goes down. So where the teams went onto the stage and then the walk down.
You would have been on the middle
end.
Stage, because there's one right at the far end where the zip line finishes, and then these.
It's the one in the middle.
Yeah, okay.
And then the teams come down off the stage and walk straight down sort of the spine of the tee, if you will, and onto the coach at the end. And they want a space anywhere in the tee. And it was like 7, 8, 9, 10 people deep all the way back. It was unreal.
I was sat at the side of the stage and we got kicked out because it was a VIP area. So we kicked us out at 3 p.m. But we didn't know that, and there was a load of Rovers fans, there was some Aussie fans, some Bulldog fans in there, and they did come round and tell us, and we are leaving, but we had to because that's where the photographers were. And by the time I'd left and had a few beers and then moved on with my old man to go and get something to drink, it was, look how many people there is. I don't know where I'm going to stand now. And like, it was just that busy and that full, and honestly, it was great. And the atmosphere, the vibe, and yes, it was Vegas, and anyone that's been to Vegas, and I haven't, that was part of it. I'd urge people to go anyways, but if you've never been, you're thinking of going, I would go for the rugby as well. It added an extra element to it. It added that beauty of getting to see the NRL teams. If I could change anything about it, for me, honestly, is I would want more people that I know to have come with us, and I would want more fans to have took it up on the offer. Obviously, I know it's expensive and stuff, so I don't mean it in that way. I get it was a hard thing to do, but just because that many people should really enjoy it. Obviously, I'd like a better result for Rovers. The only thing I can say that Rovers did wrong, apart from not turning up for the game, in terms of a club, I think they got it wrong on the wristband situation. So you could buy red wristbands that were a tenner, or you could buy gold wristbands, I'm not sure how much they were. 35. And the wristbands helped you out throughout the week. So each club had a designated bar where you got discount, but the red band would help you, and there was maybe 10 places you get cheap drinks and cheap food. I didn't do enough to experience it, and I did use it for the Atomic Golf, where you got like free food and beers for 2 hours while you played golf. They did give us a bill at the end that said I would have spent nearly $500, just me and my dad, if we'd have paid normally. Instead, we paid 90. Jeez. But you can still book that deal without a band. You can only book it at certain times, whereas the red band allowed you to do it whenever. So it was good, but a lot of fans complaining, particularly the gold bands, so their opinion, not mine, but let us know in the comments that the place that was at the main bar wasn't big enough until it killed. The beer was watered down. The Rock House as well, the main place. Some of the beer weren't great, it was still expensive. It felt like they'd up the prices to then put the discount on so it was back to normal. Beer in Vegas itself is expensive, but I can't knock Rovers as a club for what we did in putting it on. It was amazing. I feel like it's hard to describe, and I think Vegas is like that anyways. I don't know why I bothered taking photos of the Grand Canyon. You'll never get a photo of that does justice what it actually is and looks like and how it makes you feel.
Not unless you're in a chopper.
Yeah, and so for me, it's just I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope everyone has got home safe, is still coming home safe, that's travelling or is soon to travel. I just urge anyone, the next time it comes up, take it. I spoke to some other fans on that point before I shut up rambling that had said, like, didn't come with partners that were Rovers fans. They came as just all fans. So it was like, how can I miss the opportunity? Yeah. What if we don't come next year? What if he gets canned? What if World War III goes off?
This is what I briefly said before we started recording. Yeah. We didn't. Me and Hannah, my wife, spoke about it. Like we would have come back. I couldn't realistically go to a Rovers game and not come to a whole game. But we're sat there on Tuesday, Wednesday. You guys are putting pictures up, getting on the plane, all this and that. I'm like, we should have gone. I was like, yeah, we should have gone. Like, especially the news that's coming, filtering a little bit towards us that it might not be happening now for all next year. I wish we'd have gone, and I could have obviously met up with you guys, and I'd have had just as much as good a laugh with all the fans that are there, and not just the whole fans.
Honestly, there was an all fan sat behind me in the ground. Nobody gave him any shit or anything. Not that was in the place to, obviously, because we was getting hammered, but like even before the game when we was all singing and bantering and stuff like that, there was just no animosity anywhere. And like Josh has alluded to, there was just fans of every club. Seeing Castleford fans. Fans of rugby who were from like Leeds or sort of the West Yorkshire area who were actually rugby fans who were going just because they wanted to go for the experience.
We've had some little updates today, haven't we, on the news that they're going to discuss Vegas and where the stance is next year. I know Nigel Woods had an interview this week saying he's going to speak to the NRL about financial implications and things like that regarding Vegas going forward. And then we've obviously had the announcement, not an announcement, but in the news that Europe games might be happening for 5 games. So I'm guessing that'll be for the teams that don't go to Vegas. I'm just reading into that. I really hope we do it though. Like I've been to Vegas. I've not been to see a rugby game there, but I've been to Vegas, and it's amazing, and to go watch your team there would have took it to next level. Yeah. And I want to experience that with Hull FC. I want him to come, and cousin Josh and all the other guys that we go with, and James, Jimmy. I want us all to experience that and go support our team 5,000 miles away. I know a lot of Hull fans got to do it to Australia, and they said it was amazing. And I've seen a bit of backlash with some fans that have gone saying, "Oh, we've done Australia, we don't need to go to Vegas." No, for the exposure of our club, it's daft, it's short-sighted, small-minded in my eyes.
Just because you've done one thing don't mean you should stop trying to... I mean, look at Wigan.
But I would support the RFL finding a way to support clubs to do this.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be bitter that we've lost a home game for it. We made a decision. Financially, we're in a different position to other clubs, and we made a lot of money from things like the Coldplay concerts, that we've decided to take a small loss, or a loss, however big it is. I know there's been a lot about FC not willing to take that. If they want to make it the Magic Weekend game so you don't lose a home game, if that's the one that you lose. If they want to jig things, whatever they do, do it. Let's keep it happening. I'd said to you guys that I'd like this to be a feature so that in 15 years' time, it's Rovers' time to go again.
Yeah.
Or 10 years' time, whatever. And I want the derby to be there.
I think it makes sense what you were saying then about trying to get financial support from the NRL, because their supporters can look at that game and think, Jesus Christ, that was an arse whooping, that was ridiculous, like we don't want to see that, blah, blah, blah. Everything that I've seen, everything that everyone's said to me, whether it's an Aussie fan on Reddit or you guys coming back, the atmosphere was made by the Rovers fans and the Leeds fans. And last year it was the Wigan fans and the Warrington fans. And next year it'll be whatever British fans go, unless it's Huddersfield, that make the atmosphere. So,
but just going on to, like he just mentioned, the atmosphere, and I just want to touch on this. Both sets of fans were brilliant. I've seen a video on YouTube. There was in a casino, I don't know which casino, there was Rovers fans on one side, Leeds fans on the other, chanting at each other, laughing and joking. And then, but I want to pick up on what the Leeds fans were doing. The game was done 70 minutes in, and there was a breaking play, and Mr. Brightside come on, over the tannoy, and all you heard was the Leeds fans singing along to it. I won't be surprised if they pick up on that song and it's played at Headingley for the next God knows how many.
Well, I think like the full stadium was singing it.
Was it?
It wasn't just Leeds.
The
full stadium.
the Leeds fans.
They showed the Leeds fans, so it just, I thought the Leeds fans were singing it. But it was brilliant how it just looked amazing. Like you guys before the game singing that frigging song that I used to like, which I don't like now.
Red Red Robin.
No, not that one. But it just looked amazing, absolutely amazing. And I want to experience
I want you to
that
experience
in my
it.
team.
I'll just give you an example before we wrap up of what it's like. I'm walking across a massive crossing, a big busy road, and on this one crossing, I saw 3 separate groups of people that I knew, and there was an American couple walking past us. And was in Rovers gear. And the first person, all right. And the last person was who won the shirt in our giveaway competition. Danny, right? So I'm like, you all right, mate, how are you? I think I shook his hand or whatever. He was with like missus and kids out.
Yeah, I've seen Danny, yeah.
And this American just turned and went, God, I won't do an accent, went, God, these English rugby fans, they just know everybody. They're taking over. And then we just carried on walking. And it just felt like it was like that. And I think we want to all experience that.
It was. Last one from me then was... Speaking to some NRL fans down Fremont Street, they were Knights fans, and they were like, one thing we could take from you is your chanting. Because there was pockets of Rovers and Leeds fans dotted around, but when their song started or a song that they wanted to sing or a chant came on, they joined in and the other team was quiet and let them do it, and then we sang back like you said about in the casinos and stuff, and there was like, that is something we can take from you, because our atmospheres are dead. And then another one, I believe was a Dragons fan, turned around and said, one thing we can take from you is you and Leeds have both been absolutely on point with merch. The amount of different merchandise that us and Leeds both had, representing Vegas and their own club,
wild, to be fair,
was absolutely ridiculous. There must have been 15 to 20 different pieces of merch for each club. And whether it's Hawaiian shirts, whether it's hockey shirts, it was just mental. It was just...
So, no listeners' lounge again this week, but I just want to bring up some comments we've had, because we don't really mention what comments we've had, so it's nice to mention them, and we've had quite a few good ones on.
These are a surprise to me because I don't read them.
I don't until this morning.
Oh, you don't go on YouTube and read the comments?
Nope.
Do you not?
Nope.
They're all me. I've got 10 different accounts.
So I want to. These 3 I've picked out, 4 if we can get through to it. But thank you for your comments. Keep them coming in, good or bad. Just send them in. It's good. Josh and Jimmy like reading them. Jimmy.
JJ.
But there's a few I want to pick up on, and one of them at Steve Tinclair 3062. Hey lads, so the other week you mentioned about shout-outs and getting the word out about other teams and stuff. I wondered if you could make a mention for the Masters Rugby League here in Hull. There's many teams to watch, including us Hull Knights down in Hessel. Also, an invite to you and the lads to come over to watch, or even join in if you fancy it. Great poddy, by the way. He was smashing it. So, yeah.
I just need to point out that I'm not old enough to join. You boys might.
Is that yours?
There's 2 over here for you as well.
More than happy. Fire over the fixtures, and I'm sure
We'll try and arrange.
arrange to get down. If it's not all of us, definitely a few of us will be able to get down to a game.
I've got to watch.
I am not joining in a game, but
It says that now.
I'm more than happily.
As soon as his eyes start twinkling.
I played
I'm gonna
football on
see how
Sunday and I'm
much-
still struggling now.
See how much pain I'm in on the morning, and if I'm not, I will join in.
But yeah, thanks for that comment.
Might the gold shorts if you want.
Another one from Gary Leigh. Another great podcast. I'm typing this on the Monday after the weekend, so Monday just gone after the games. A question for you all. What do you think each club's reaction will be to those results this coming weekend? Will both Rovers and the other lot,
That's us.
For those who don't know.
step up against Huddersfield and the Wildcats respectively? I don't think they're called the Wildcats anymore, are they?
No, just Trinity out there.
Trinity, yeah. Get it right, Gary.
Yeah.
Other lot.
But yeah,
Um,
I think both teams will respond.
Well, this is why all fans don't like me. I think we will. I don't think you will.
I think we'll respond, but it won't be in a victory.
Yeah, maybe that's a better way to put it. I think Wakey will win that game.
Yep.
I think we will win our game. Whether that answers if a response or
I've
not.
got it the other way around on my predictions.
We had to judge you anyway, top of the league, are they? So
Yeah, absolutely.
right.
Top of the league, I've not even had a gold cap yet.
Ole, ole.
consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Matthew Sunman, can we just cancel this week's episode due to jet lag?
No.
We wanted to. Well, I'm
They
sure
did.
they did. We are jet lag, but we still wanted to.
No, I didn't after their result.
Fair enough.
Do you think he's jet lagged? He's a
I wish
secret
I'd have gone
Rovers
to
fan.
Vegas after seeing their result.
One of his other comments, though, because he threw quite a few in, I think it's a 4-beer recording. Craig's well on his way. Maybe with some food from Tribal thrown in to advertise a new menu.
Yeah, Amy. Where's she gone?
There's no one from Tribal watching tonight, but
Because it's a Wednesday and it is open.
I think it would be great
I
for them
fully
to
agree.
provide us with a little banquet so that we could show everybody how good the food is.
They are too busy serving the patrons downstairs, but yeah, it would be nice if we could have a couple of sliders and some chips. And
Currently no one at the bar.
so we can get around it.
Off you go, Susan.
Susan, go get some sliders.
So yeah, thanks for the comments. There was one from Ethan Turner. Didn't get a chance to get through that, but thank you. There's a few others. Liam Acton, Logan Russell, Corney, Johnny Pye, David KK. So yeah,
You
thanks.
just didn't mention the Ethan one because it says 6-7 again in it. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
No, keep them coming though.
Yeah, thank you very much. Keep them coming.
You never know, in future episodes we might have a bit more space. It's only
Well,
'cause
we
we've
don't-
done
We
an
spent
extra-
15 minutes talking about Vegas, haven't we? So
Exactly,
we can
so we
recover
might have
that.
an extra section.
Yeah. Oh well. Josh, tell us about the...
News from around the world. I had a little voice crack then as well.
Right, let's just get some quick ones
Did
in.
you have to like close your legs real hard then to
No,
get that high
yeah.
pitch?
No.
I ain't shut up this episode, and I know that's most episodes, but I've been bad, so let's get through these quick. What's changed? Round 3 delivered in performance, but not in attendances. So across the board, not great. Wigan and Leigh. Leigh retained 3,500 of their tickets. We know what happened there with Derek Beaumont
So
saying...
Beaumont spat his dummy out.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sure it's over this sad.
Yeah,
Threw it
honestly.
that far, didn't he?
Cass and Giants, they had 2,000 fewer than Cass's first home game. Caveats on these, first home games do get more, trying to drag them in sort of offers. FC in York, 4k lower than they had against Bradford.
Can we just go 12,700 is still a very, very respectable.
I
massively.
never, ever trust your numbers whatsoever. Never trust FC's reporting figures.
It did feel like there was that
Fair
in,
play.
and about 300 or 400 from York.
But we
as well.
already know that the figures that we report include every single season pass
Yeah.
holder, whether they turn up or not. It's tickets sold, not people in attendance.
Yeah, so
Hence the sold out
Yeah,
that
that's-
we pedal.
Yeah.
correct.
So we sold 3,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Extra.
Working Wyre and Wakey 5k less. Cass and Saints, they was up. One of the only ones to be up, but it was less than the same fixture last year. Obviously, Care and Leeds was 45k attendance, so a big anomaly because that doesn't count. And then Bradford and Toulouse, they were 1k less than the first game for Bradford. However, that is 4k better than last year's attendance for that fixture.
Have you got that?
No, I didn't know it because I just wanted to say it. But a little bit rough because obviously opening games, they get a lot of incentives on, they get a lot of free tickets at times. So just want to keep an eye on while we see where the game's going this year, and especially with bigger teams in attendance. It's important as well when we're looking at money into the sport and the next TV deal. They're trying to talk about what we're getting on screen as well as bums on seats.
While we're talking about attendances, I know I don't want to jump on all section, but it was announced, what we heard the other week was the 28 corporate boxes we've got in the stadium, first time ever, they've all sold out this year. So the boxes are sold out throughout the season. I don't know if that's like companies buying them for all season or individual, I don't know, but they're sold out for the season. So that's a great thing from the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of injuries at the minute. Seems to be a bit of a curse on fullbacks as well, so watch out if you're a fullback. I think the curse actually messed up because Walmsley's injured at Saints now, and I think they meant to get Lachlan Walmsley, that is the fullback, isn't it? But they actually got Alex instead. But the one I want to talk
Lachlan's
about...
a winger.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a winger at Whitfield.
Oh, way to just call him out in front of the entire world.
He said, I think he's a fullback.
Someone would have done it on the YouTube comments anyway.
I know, I just stole that online, do you know what I mean? But the big one, I think it's worth mentioning, is that significantly for Wigan, they're going to lose Star Jai Field for 4 weeks minimum after he was hospitalised with appendicitis. It could be longer, but I think that's a big blow for Wigan, and we'll see how they go on with there. But yeah, there's a lot on the go. We wish everyone a speedy recovery. Go from there.
They'll have a kid in the academy that's Super League
Does
level,
that mean he's
it's
going to be
fine.
faster? Because he'll be lighter now, you don't have an appendix.
Well, it doesn't say they took it out. That's the
Dangerous,
thing.
that is.
And then finally, probably good news really, we should say, to round off, Halifax Panthers have been granted membership under the new consortium that has been put in front of the RFL. The new consortium has taken control of the club. They have been punished with a 12-point deduction for going against the governing body rules. This is per the rules and it follows their criteria, so it's a fair deduction. But by all accounts, they should be able to host London Broncos and fulfil their fixture this coming weekend.
Good.
So good to see.
Have they said what they're going to do with the fixtures
that
they've
I've
missed?
read.
Are they getting forfeited or...?
Not that I've read.
Fair enough.
And also, how does that work with Featherstone, given that they were denied access to rejoin?
Because they didn't find a suitable buyer, as far as I'm
Yeah,
they're not.
this consortium, which has got some local business owners, it's spearheaded by one guy, I can't recall his name. He must be able to prove that the debts can be repaid in a timely fashion.
Right, okay.
And so I'm guessing that couldn't happen elsewhere.
Right, fair enough. That answers that.
Preview of us at Huddersfield this Sunday then.
I was waiting for Josh's, and that rounds up the news. So that's why I was a bit...
And for you to
Yeah. Stop tapping your paper.
stop tapping your pen.
I haven't.
These bloody rugby Leeds boys are taking over Vegas.
Yeah. Who'd have penned this as a bottom of the table clash after 2 rounds for us and 3 rounds for them?
Super League's upside down, I keep telling you. You won't listen.
But no, I do, as I alluded to a little bit earlier on,
Said it again.
I know. I do think we will bounce back and you will see a Rovers victory in this. I think the players, there was a couple of them at the end of the Vegas game who sort of came over and they were like held their hands up and said basically that wasn't good enough.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry for travelling 5,000 miles and watching us get absolutely...
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, there's been more articles on our game because of what it was and us losing, and more comments online, and can they back it up, and what happens if they lose this game as well? Right, it was in Vegas, it's done now.
A bad day
This
at the
is-
office, brush it under the rug, crack on
right,
with
Bad day in a nice office.
Yeah.
This is what we
Very
need.
nice.
We,
Air-conditioned office.
to quote Elvis Presley, because we've been in Vegas, what we need now is a little less conversation and a little more action, please. Shut up about it. Rovers was good last year. Now, on Sunday, get out, get the 2 points. The win points is irrelevant. We don't need to prove about points difference. Get the win, get out of jail, and then carry on the season. That's all that matters. Willie has always given us a response. The team's always given us a response. Let's see if it carries on.
I think you will get a response.
I think we will as well. I don't want to say it just in case it cases it. I'm touching wood while I do it. But they're struggling. They haven't looked brilliant.
Neither have you.
Well, we haven't, but we
You've
know
got the
what we're
ability.
capable
You've got
of.
the ability to.
Is what I was sort of getting at there.
They've surprised me though, to be honest, Phil. I thought
I've got them pegged to bottom of the
them-
league anyway.
I didn't think they'd win against Catalan, and I didn't think they'd win against Wakefield. But they put up a good fight against Wakefield. Come back to make it quite
Wakey were
close.
poor though.
Wakey
I
took the
know.
foot off the gas massively.
But I fancied them to go to a poor Castleford side and beat them, and they got absolutely demolished.
Huddersfield, I read a comment on Reddit, I can't remember who said it, but they basically listed all the injuries and they're just injury hit again. They've got 5 or 6 key injuries that would genuinely be first team starting. And then the comment, it was from a Huddersfield fan, it also said, and unfortunately, Tarn Milne passed his HIA, so we have to play him again. So obviously not a fan of the guy.
Wow.
But they are just, they're in the doldrums and we're not doing well. And I don't think there's a better fixture that we could have got after what happened last week to turn it around.
Without asking for it.
Maybe
Yeah.
at home, that's the only difference.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to travel again.
But with it being Huddersfield, yes, we are travelling. It's only an hour and a half down the motorway, and it'll be like a home game.
It will be,
anyway.
we'll have more fans.
So,
2 weeks off a trot
probably.
as well.
yeah.
Probably.
That's it from
That's
me.
it, I think. I don't think we've really got out else with Rovers, I don't think, have we?
There's nothing to speculate.
Just get back on the horse.
There was
Yeah,
one person
absolutely.
trying to blame Broadbent at fullback. That wasn't the problem.
No.
The problem was that 17 players didn't turn up.
There was a few things. Broadbent got walked over, so it stands out. That's why people point fingers at him. So Asso Sue give Jenkins a pass to just walk through into the strike. So people remember that because it stands out to them. That's why these players are getting slated. It was 1-17, disgraceful on the night. Bounce back, get the win on Sunday.
Pretty much sums up what we're thinking. So let's move on. Bosh. Right then. So on to this month's monthly cause, are we calling it? Donation?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Call it
cause.
what you want, mate.
We'll call it a cause. Let's
I like how we all looked at James because it's his pod. We just need to
Well,
get
it's your pod.
assurances.
It is your pod. We need your authorisation on these things. So this year we have gone with this
Month.
this month.
Yes. Nearly there, mate.
Yeah, nearly there, nearly done. I can go home and go back to bed. So it's Danny and Liam who are raising money for a charity called Alcohol Change UK. And it's a charity for those that are living with alcohol addiction or dependency, which was formed when Alcohol Concern and Alcohol Research UK sort of merged together, if you will. This is a question I said that I've got to ask you. How many people do you think die as a result of a cause from alcohol?
What, yearly?
Hourly?
Hourly? 10?
Not quite that high.
5.
But it's quite shocking. No,
3 people.
no. You were getting there in the end. I reckon if we had one more person, you'd go
4.
right. That's one. So it's one person an hour dies in the UK of something to do with alcohol. Whether that's mental health induced by alcohol, liver disease, economic difficulties such as poverty, living out on the street, being susceptible to the weather, things like that. They're but a few, but there's so many other causes that alcohol is a cause of, so such as cancer. Obviously, a lot of things cause cancer these days, but alcohol is hugely linked with that. Obesity is another one. And the company that the charity they're raising money for, it's not an anti-alcohol organisation. It's a change on how we use and view alcohol. So it's more for focusing on things like reducing alcohol harm and things like that, and everything that goes along with that. So the actual challenge is that Danny is going to be doing the running, and Liam, who's a friend of mine, he's going to be doing the supporting, stopping along at certain pit stops along the route, which is either going to be 16 or 25 kilometres, depending on how hot the day is. If it's cold, he'll go the 25. If it's warmer, he'll stop every 16, just so it can refresh and things like that. So it's going to be on the 6th to the 12th of July, which also coincides with Alcohol Awareness Week,
Bloody hell.
which I think is
It's
quite...
part of the year as well.
It is, hence why it's heat dependent.
Yeah.
I just think it's really important to do it on sort of that time, and I think it's quite poignant that he's doing it in that week. So day 1, which will be the 6th, then he's going to be doing 51 kilometres. So he's going to start in Southport, and then he's going to stop just outside of Widnes for his first stop. Day 2 is Widnes to Wivenshaw in Manchester. Day 3 is what's been described as the hardest day. So this is Wivenshaw to a place called Pennystone, just outside of Barnsley. Basically, it's coming across the middle of nowhere, little amenities because it's coming across the Pennines. Yeah. So as you can imagine, when we travel across there, there's very little out there, just hills basically. And for a bit of sort of context, the Leeds Marathon is considered one of the hilliest marathons that you can run in the UK, and that has less than 400 metres of elevation. On this day, Danny will be running with 750 metres of elevation. So that day is going to be a really, really tough day for him. So just hope he can get through it and get on to the next day. The next day is one of the shortest days, man. It's the last day, which is Pennystone to Doncaster, which is 45 kilometres. I guess you could class it as a bit of a recovery day. Yes, it's only 5-6 kilometres shorter than the other days, but still that's...
Downhill though?
Well, yeah, I would assume it possibly will be.
Easy that one.
Well, is it easier?
No.
Sometimes going downhill's harder, innit? Day 5 is 48 kilometres, Doncaster to Selby. Sounds like a train route, doesn't it? Day 6 is 47 kilometres, Selby to Brough. And then his final day, 43 kilometres, Brough, through Hessel, through town centre, East Hull, and then down the Hornsey track to the finish. So it's a massive thing, and one of the things that these two have discovered with making a change, that they are both sober now. And Liam actually messaged me and said he's just realised it's 500 days sober today.
Wow. So
Danny,
he finishes on the 12th of July?
yes, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm
So,
sure one of us can...
As we get closer to the
get
time,
down there.
we can sort of arrange something. If you can get out and cheer him along, anything. If you can support, there is a QR link which will appear on the screen at some point. It's also on the Bragging Rights Instagram story as well. I don't know when that runs out. When did you put that on, Jimmy?
I put that out this morning.
So,
Well, this afternoon,
so might have gone off, but can you repost it when it comes back on? Liam said some of the benefits of him becoming sober. He said his life's just gone upwards. He's passed his driving test. He's settled down with a nice girl. He's lost 10 stone in changing all of that.
Changing his life, isn't it?
And Danny sent quite a long one. He's got loads. He said he was barely running half marathons when he was doing it, but now he's doing ultras, which is anything above 26.2 kilometres, classes an ultra marathon, so 26.3 upwards. He's lost weight as well. He's a better relationship with his kids. No more wasted weekends, and he probably gets to see Rovers win it all with Evie, who is his daughter. Is his hope as well. As previously would have taken her to games, but didn't because of his drinking. Now that's opened up that door for him to build a better relationship with his daughter there as well. And his relationship with his partner Leanne was probably on the ropes, which is now flipped reversed, and they're good as well. So there is positives to giving up drink. Obviously, it's not all about giving up the drink. It's just about changing. I mean, these pants I have on here is, unless it's a Rovers away game, I don't drink. That's the only pant I have. So for me,
I think as a country, we have a problem with drink.
absolutely.
Like, you know, there's plenty of other countries where people drink and have fun and, you know, get drunk and whatever.
Look at France, they have wine with the meals, and it's perfectly fine.
But for whatever reason, in the UK, it's almost like you're obliged at times.
We don't know when to stop.
Yeah, exactly that. We drink to get pissed, not just to drink sociably.
I've been out and, you know, go out on a night out when I was in Canada, and I'd just be like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight. All right, mate, no worries.
You just enjoy the music, the atmosphere.
Go out on a night out in the UK and say, oh, I'm not drinking tonight. Well, what do you mean, you fanny? What you been a I'm like, what?
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Peer pressure,
But
absolutely.
it's ingrained in British culture.
Absolutely. And that is one of the things, if you do get a chance, Google Alcohol Change UK. There's a whole website on there for some reason. So we just put that up, not Siri, the other one. Anyways, yeah, if you do get a chance, go on there, have a look at what it's all about. They are a charity. If you can donate, I know we ask a lot. We're asking people to donate all the time and things like that, but
We're not, what what we want to do with this is just say, look, we're going to donate to every single cause that we put on screen. Feel free to donate to the causes that hit home for you. We're not asking everyone to donate every month to a different cause. You know, if last month's cause didn't hit home with you, fine. If this one does, please donate. And then, you know, if next month's don't hit home, then there's no obligation for any of our listeners to donate every month.
Absolutely. But if
it's
you
like
can,
when a club releases a shirt, they don't expect you to buy every one.
Of course.
So.
But if you can, it will be greatly appreciated by the charity and by the lads. So,
just before we jump on to the Hull FC section, I just want to bring up, we had John's story on last year.
yes.
John lost his daughter Lila, and I'm sure a lot of you are aware of what John's doing to help. Is it Lila's Law?
Lila's
So,
Law, yeah. Spread the awareness
spread
of
the
it.
awareness of Lila's Law. When we had John on here last year, and when I've seen him previously, he looked like a broken man.
He did. Really did. And he'd admit that.
He would
So I'm not
openly
saying
admit that, I'm
anything
sure. Very drained, as you would be. He just lost his daughter and everything he's going through as well. I saw John on Friday on the way to the game, walking down Chance Ave. Now, it was a very brief conversation. I didn't realise he was behind me until he said something along the lines of big coat weather because it was raining or it was cold. So I had a very brief chat with him. John looked really, really well. He looked fresh, he looked good, and so on our behalf, I just want to send our best wishes to John. Like I said, I didn't get to speak to him much, but yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope the family's good, and everybody else who's watching this, still keep supporting Lila's Law because it's still very important and it needs all the support that we can give
just
it.
because we stopped talking about it on the pod because we do have to move on to other things. Just because we stopped doesn't mean that the rest of it stops.
Yeah.
It's still ongoing for those people.
Definitely.
I still get messages from him all the time.
Oh,
Every time something new happens in the process of trying to get this law introduced, I'll get a message off John. And
That's nice.
It's good to be kept up to date.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
you know, kept in the
He's a
loop.
really good guy. Really good guy.
He is.
FC versus Wakefield on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Or
Today,
tonight, if
as
you're
you see
listening.
this, I said last week we had to bounce back. We didn't. Today, we have to bounce back. I believe. I said this last week. I believe we will, but I don't think it'll come with a result to go along with it.
I think the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll struggle again, but we'll nick a win. I've got us by 2.
I hope you're right.
I thought you said earlier when I said that we'd bounce back and you wouldn't, that you said you had it opposite.
No, he said it today.
No, the results. I've got the results opposite. You said we'd lose and you'd win. I've got us to win and you to lose.
No, we're Rovers not to lose.
Yeah. What gets me about this game, I've not seen anything from either team that have really impressed. And Wakey have got their own issues, taking the foot off the gas against Huddersfield. Tyson Smoothie injured. Looks like Mason Lino should be back for them though, which he's rocks and diamonds type player for me. But when you talk about the Super League and it's early and we can't really put a finger on who's doing what, the two clubs that are going to play tomorrow night or tonight, if you're listening on Thursday, Wakey picked you to a playoff spot last year, and I felt they deserved that spot more than you. They were just more consistent. But you were so close, and it felt like two clubs that were building, and next year was goal. This year, as it is now, was going to be, them two teams could be top 4, not never mind top 6. Neither team have shown that yet, have they?
No.
And I'm really curious how that's going to play out.
But apart from Leeds against you and Wyre maybe in 2 performances and Wigan over the 3, no one's shown anything.
No, it's so early.
So it's so early. But for me, yes, I want to win, obviously, but I want to see better completion rate. I want to see a bit better attitude in the players. I want to see better ends to our sets. I want to see the better basics of the game, which we've not seen for 3 games. So for me, that's what I'm looking at more for tomorrow. For the game
Sometimes it's
against
just
Wakefield.
about stripping it all back, innit?
I think
Just
we have to.
going back to because let's be honest, some teams don't know how to defend against the basics. I mean, I'm not digging on you, but you guys proved it last week.
Yeah.
You said it yourself. York did the basics because you're expecting flash and skill and speed.
York did the basics, but yet their tries came 1 against 12 men, 1 against a knock-on. Then they've just picked it up and shipped it 2 passes and scored against a broken defence because it's coming back from a kick. And the other one was from an error, which was a well-worked try. So it wasn't anything that you'd go, that was really bad, that needs fixing up. But it's more with ball in hand and the completion of sets that I'm more looking at.
Your attack's your problem. No one's pulling the strings.
No.
Caesar, I know Arthur was his first game, and Caesar had poke in the eye last week, but thus far, nobody is controlling your attack, and it's not clicking.
Nope.
It's very, famous quote, clunky.
It showed last week, second half, we couldn't really get upfield all that much. Asiata comes on, the ball starts getting played quicker, at least off the first receiver, it kept coming out quicker. We started making yardage, we started getting near their line, but then that loss of Caesar and that putting Cust back in at 6 or the other one, we just couldn't get that final thing left. Without Caesar at 7, it wasn't working at all, and I worry that we haven't got anyone to fill that leading role in the halves.
I think tomorrow will give us a better understanding of how we're going to feel and how we're going to look. Hopefully we've got Asiata starting. No, a little bit better of an understanding. Not the full, it's catastrophe if it don't work tomorrow. But hopefully Asiata starts. Caesar's in the 21, hopefully he's okay to go. Asiata another game with Arthur another game with Caesar. Litton, who we think is going to go to full-back, although Moy's back in the 21 and he got the option of Zach. Briscoe onto the wing as well, I think, as a straight replacement for Barron. But that span might be look a bit more tomorrow what we want it to look like for the rest of the season, which it hasn't for the first 3 games. So we'll see. And we've got James Bell, who looks like he's in line for his debut as well, so he's probably going to come off the bench to spell Asiata, and he's a capable player to do that as well.
Yeah, you've got dangerous pivots there. You've spoke about it last season, Dean, where the ball goes to Asiata and then it's spread quickly. But your 6, 7 and 13 it's dangerous. It looks scary. The problem for me, I think it is dangerous, and I think we'll have an issue going down the line. It's just getting them on the pitch at the same time.
No, it's not that. I don't think we have the speed outside of that to cause the top teams trouble. I think when we have Price who could link in at the back end of that, which again we haven't seen because There was out injured and now he's out injured, I believe we had the strike for him to do damage, after it's come off your half-backs and Asiata.
Even if it's a half break and getting on the front foot.
I struggle to see I fear that the player will break down after that.
A lot of players that look very strong on paper, rugby league ain't played on paper.
No.
So they've got to stay fit, and they've got to learn how to work with those caveats. If we can get the ball out to Martin, he'll score from anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to slow down in our second rows because we can't keep any of them fit.
Yeah.
Or they aren't fast enough. These are problems that every team has to work with. And for you, as Arthur gets more ingrained and Arthur gets hopefully better and gets to click up a bit more, if him and Caesar start linking up and they start doing it with 13, whoever's on the pitch at the time, other players have got to learn around that. Your player can't break down and have a successful season. They've got to learn how to adjust, and that's what good players do.
Hopefully we'll see it. Craig's time to shine.
So, predictions this week. Well, last weekend we'll do a quick rundown. So, we have a new leader overall.
No, we haven't. Skip that.
That's me.
Mr. Jay Watkin over there on 21 points overall.
I'm 9th in the world.
Woo! Are you really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
9th in the world, 6th in the UK.
Good going.
Second out of us 5 is myself with 15 points. Susan's in third with 14.75. And it's Dean on 13.5 and then Josh on 13. So still very tight. It's only 2 points. 2 points can change in a week from 5th to 2nd. Obviously, Jimmy's a bit of an
I'll be like 80th next week.
You're going to have a bad week this week, are you?
Maybe. Could be.
Couple of shout-outs then. So, he hasn't actually got the wooden spoon on the app because what I've done is there were 5 or 6 people who only picked one game, didn't pick the other 5 games. So it's a bit harsh to give them the wooden spoon again. So I've gone for the next lowest player, who was Ricky Robin, known as Ricky Phelan. He's got 2 points overall. So he's.
Did he pick all 6?
He picked all the fixtures
7
and got
games?
2 points. Yeah.
That's shocking.
Because I checked it before and I showed Josh, and Josh was like,
shocking.
They're calling him out.
He's a Rovers fan, isn't he? So I am.
So there's
That's the only reason.
obviously 7 games.
Yeah.
The people who all got 1 point didn't pick all the games. So what I've done is for the
So he
wooden
picked
spoon,
all the games and got 1
the
point.
lowest pair, 2 points.
2 points.
God,
Lowest-
we're dragging him now, aren't we? Should
Jimmy
clarify
asked,
it for me
didn't he?
as well. Did he only pick Paul, lad?
Do you know what? I think you're being bang out of order because it's not his fault that there were a load of people below him that just didn't put the effort in.
Blame Josh. He agreed. Josh predictions league is Josh's thing. I just read them out.
Oh, it's Josh's predictions league, isn't it?
He sorts it, so yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He's
Do you know why?
captain.
Because I won it last year. Because I got told on the last week, Josh is out of the running for picking the forfeit because everyone else got cocky, which is why I don't worry about Jimmy being ahead right now.
I'm not confident.
Nothing's won in
I'll take the
March.
celebrations
Watch him
whilst I
get the,
can, but
yellow cap, gold cap next week, whatever it is.
Yellow cap, yeah. And the yellow cap this week went to Turkish taxi driver, who is Dan Straker, who finished with 8 points.
Good score.
So,
Good effort. Better than
great
2.
score, that.
what's his name?
Turkish taxi driver,
What's his actual name?
Dan Straker.
Doesn't sound very Turkish.
How do you know his name might be?
But I'm just saying, it
How
doesn't
do you
sound
know?
like
His
a
name
Turkish
might
name.
be
His
like
name might be danced.
Danielopoulos or something
You
like
don't
that.
know that, do you? How are we to judge other people's names?
I'm not judging him, I'm just saying.
Let's get on to some predictions.
Yeah, come on, stop
Let's.
telling me to hurry up, you.
So, first game of the week, then, as we've already discussed, is Wakefield versus Hull. I've gone for Hull to bounce back, and I've got them by 10 points.
A big part of my decision was that it's at Wakey, and that's why I've got Wakey by 6.
I've got Wakey by 10.
I got FC by 2.
Away by 2. And Susan has Wakefield by 6. Sometimes when I read Susan's predictions, I think he's going against them because it's Hull, and he's a Rovers fan.
I don't think he ever backs Hull.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been right so far this
But then
season.
this week it's been justified because it's split 3 and 2 this week. So, Leigh versus Catalan. I've got Leigh by 4.
I've got Leigh by 14.
Leigh by 12.
Leigh by 8.
Susan has Leigh by 8 as well. So Leigh across the board for that one. York versus Warrington. I've got Warrington by 8.
Warrington by 10.
Warrington by 20.
York by 6.
That top spot's gone right to my head, hasn't it?
I can do what I want.
Wire a wire and... yeah,
Why
I
were
just-
good this
And
year so
I
far?
think Wire are good, and they always start
So
the
are
season
York.
well. No, York are
York
okay.
aren't good. They're
Yeah,
not.
no, York are going to suffocate Wire.
They just do the basics right.
You know what?
And
we'll
you
see.
don't
But
attack.
We'll see.
Look what
We'll see
happened when they
next
come
week.
up against a team that was playing well, Leeds. They got demolished. Wire playing well, they'll get
Yeah, but they're at
demolished.
home.
Don't matter.
Susan, moving on. Susan's got Wire by
You're all
16.
wrong.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Just like we all backed all last week.
Toulouse versus Wigan then, south of France. Wigan by 10.
Wigan by 18.
16 Wigan.
Wigan by 18.
Man,
And Susan has Wigan by 20. St Helens versus Bradford. I've got Saints by 4.
Saints by 12.
Saints by 8.
Saints by 10.
What's your issue now?
Bradford.
No, Bradford. And Susan's got Saints by 14. Form team then, I would say, minus Wigan, because they're just a freakish team anyways. Leeds versus Castleford. I've got Leeds by 26. I think they're going to carry on.
Wow.
No, they've still got to travel home. Leeds by 14.
Leeds by 10. I would, on a normal week, I'd say it'd be more.
Yeah. Leeds by 10 for the same reason.
Fair enough. And Susan's got Leeds by 14. Final.
Also, sorry, but on that, they might have run ragged round us, but I just think we didn't turn up. I think for them it is still a bit of a derby, isn't it, for them, Leeds and Cast. They do hate each other in a way. I don't see Cast just rolling over, and I don't think they're as poor as one of you two said earlier, saying it was like poor. They're
I
not
think they're
terrible.
awful.
I don't think they're terrible.
At the minute,
I think they're second bottom at the end of the season.
Possibly. I just think they've got more to give. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see.
well, you think you'll finish just below Cass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, Final game of the round
I
then.
had to get my slide.
Yeah.
usual-
Who would
my
have built
weekly
this one as the bottom of the table clash? Walking down Fremont Street going bottom of the league all ALA. It's got to be done, hasn't it? Huddersfield versus Rovers. I've got Rovers by 14.
Rovers by 20.
Rovers by 10.
Huddersfield by 4.
It really has gone to his head, hasn't it?
On it.
And Susan's got Rovers by 18. And that wraps up the predictions for this week.
Just a point, mine is all to do with the my perception of how you dealt with Vegas. And yeah, I know you had a poor performance. I feel like that's all to do with how, as a club, you dealt with just trying to maybe do too much while you were out there and, you know,
possibly
spending too much energy. You've now got to fly back, recover and play against the team that's had a decent amount of rest.
I'm still confident.
So that's my reasoning.
no,
Stranger things have happened.
I respect your reasoning. Anything can happen on the day, and I don't begrudge you having that opinion. What I do think is that it doesn't consider all the facts. That just looks at an assumption that they won't bounce back and that they won't recover. Yeah. I think it's the flip side. I agree we did maybe too much. I also think we're not giving enough credit to how much the World Club Challenge took out of the team, and we've always had a response. So let's wait and see come next week.
Touch wood.
We will.
So anyways, probably a bit of a longer one in the end there. We had some technical problems along the way. You might see some...
Longer for us, not for them.
Well, I still think it felt longer.
Yeah.
It did,
maybe that's the jet
We
lag.
had an extra Vegas section in there as well, to be fair.
But back to normal. Going to try, and when I say try, it is always down to Jimmy. It is his pod. He's the one that does the graft after this to get it out early. So hopefully you'll get this in the morning before the game on Thursday night, the whole game. So thank you, as always, to our main sponsor, Comscaff, for being our main sponsor, and thank you always to Tribal, the home of the pod, for housing us. And please remember, however you listen or view us, to give us a like and subscribe, particularly on YouTube. If you can like, subscribe, share an episode with a mate, and hype us where possible.
Just do what you got to do.
And hype's the main one.
Apparently hype's the main one. And don't forget to throw your comments in. We're not going to run for everyone every week, but we are going to try and get through some good ones. And if there's good questions there, we'll make sure we answer them. And plus, it's nice to speak to some of you guys through the screen, so keep it going.
And it's me who decides, so be nice.
Yeah, because it's Dean's pod, really.
So, from me then, see you,
Sorry,
bye.
I cut you right off then, sorry. See you, bye.
See you, bye.
From me and the guy walking down the strip, see you, bye.